Ready, go!
What's up everyone, today we're taking a quick look at examples of African architecture in video games, more specifically Sudano Sahelian architecture. Now as far as I've seen, there aren't many games that feature this architectural style, but I do know a few that do. And as you can see, we're starting off with a Sonic game. Now I've talked about this architectural style before on other videos, but for those of you who are newcomers to the channel, let me give a brief summary of this African architectural style. The term Sudano Sahelian architecture refers to a range of similar African architectural styles found in the areas of the hot semi-arid Sahel and the Sudan, which is a grassland region that is between the Sahara and the forest zone. In fact, you might even call the Sudan a green hill zone. Red Spirit Mask intends all of his puns, no apologies or given. This architectural style uses sustainable materials such as mudbricks and adobe plaster, which is supported by wooden beams that often protrude from the walls. Some notable examples include the Great Mosque of Djenne, the Larabanga Mosque, Agadez, Timbuktu, and more. So like I said before, our first video game today is from the Sonic franchise. It's Sonic Unleashed, a game in which Sonic becomes a werehog for some reason. More importantly, in this game, Sonic goes globetrotting, and one of the places he visits is Missouri, a continent inspired by Africa. An important note for this game is that if you want to play this thing, you should only play the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 versions. From what I have read, the PlayStation 2 and Wii versions are huge downgrades and barely feature this African zone at all. As for how fun the game is, well, a good friend of mine likes it, but I myself have not had a chance to try it. After the Dreamcast games of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, which were awesome, the Sonic games kind of took a huge nosedive in quality. I absolutely hated Sonic Heroes. That game was terrible. But that said, I hear that plenty of people out there enjoy the newer Sonic games that have been coming out recently. Now that we've seen Sonic's colorful interpretation of the Sudano Sahelian architecture, we will move on to the next game. But before we do, I do want to mention to the Sonic fans out there that I have plans to make other Sonic themed videos in the future as well. And of course we also have other video game themed videos on this channel, so please subscribe for more. The game we're looking at now is Far Cry 2, and it's a mission in the game which is set in a Dogon village. Now the Dogon buildings might not be as epic in scale as like the Great Mosque of Djenne, but these structures are still really cool regardless. The Dogon, who are famous for their masks and other ancient traditions, live along the Bandiagara Escarpment, which is an over 100 miles long steep cliff environment. These people not only built homes, but they also built granaries, ritual sites, and communal meeting houses known as toguna, all of which are easy to defend thanks to the landscape. And speaking of its natural defensive structure, I suppose that might be one of the reasons why it was chosen as a level design for this video game, though I gotta say it's kinda weird seeing a bunch of white dudes having a gunfight in a Dogon village. And yes, there are black people in the game too, just thought I should say that so I don't misrepresent the game. But anyway, you might be wondering, why is there a shootout in a Dogon village? Well, I don't know. I'm sure I could look up the answer to that, but the thing is, I'm not a big fan of shooting games, so I never planned to buy this game. In fact, one of the last time I played a shooter game was at a friend's house while we were playing Halo, and during which time, at some point, I decided just to bring a knife to a gunfight, and frankly, that worked out better for me than trying to gun down people. Granted, it was a laser knife, but still, a knife regardless. Getting back to Far Cry 2, I don't even remember how I learned about this game. I pretty much have only ever looked at videos of Far Cry 2 because I just wanted to see the Dogon village. Africa's representation in games is very, very minimal, so it's just interesting to see where it pops up. Having said all that, if you're into first-person shooting games, well then you may want to try this game out. Next up we got Pikmin 3. When videos of this game first began to surface, I couldn't help but notice notice the earthen walls that resemble the Sudano Sahelian style. I don't know if the African references go any deeper than this in Pikmin 3, but I felt like this was enough to deserve a mention. Lastly on the list we have the Civilization games, notably Civilization 4 and 6, which not only feature the architecture, but also show depictions of Mansa Musa, one of Africa's most famous leaders and the richest man in history. Because this is a strategy game which has a very zoomed out camera, you don't get a good look at the architecture itself. Seriously, look at this map. According to the on-screen text, we're looking at Sahel, Timbuktu, and Djenne. However, it all just looks like tiny squares to me. That said, at least in these games you actually play as a black man, though some internet folks will argue with you that Sonic is a black guy, which, considering his first voice actor was Steve Urkel, I suppose that's a fair point. However, even if you want to make that argument for Sonic, that still only makes him a metaphorical black dude, whereas Mansa Musa is an actual black man. Alrighty, that concludes our look at the Sudano Sahelian architecture in video games. I know it wasn't a ton of games, but who knows, there may be some others as well that I either forgot or don't know of. For what it's worth, the video game I'm working on features Sudano Sahelian architecture, and it also features other African architecture as well. But I'm still keeping my game a semi-secret for now until I finish the update, which is what I'm spending most of my time working on lately. And of course, once it's all done, I will be making some videos of my game for the YouTube channel. And finally, I'd like to thank you for watching, and if you know any other examples of African architecture in other games, let me know in the comments below.